Okay, now we're going to talk about the swing approach. So far we've talked about putting our players in a good position to hit, and then we've talked about a load and a stride. Now we're going to talk about the swing. A good way to describe the swing path is short to and then long through. Okay, and what I mean by short to and long through for the swing path is this action right here. Is that as Chris starts his swing, the bat is going to be short where the hands are coming straight down. This is the short to the strike zone, and then he's going to be long through the strike zone. A couple of points of emphasis here with the upper body is that he keeps his hands high as he pulls them in and his front arm stays bent. One other thing, which is a good teaching point, moving back a little bit, is the shaft of the bat is going to stay relatively close to the back shoulder. A big flaw with young players is this shaft moves away from the shoulder. So we want to keep the shaft to the shoulder, and this helps us stay short to the baseball, and then we'll be able to be long through the baseball. Also with this, the upper body has to work, of course, with the lower body. And to initiate the swing, the first thing that's going to happen after we stride, and go ahead and stride, coach, is that we're going to have a very aggressive back knee and back hip. Okay, and so that motion right there, an aggressive back knee and back hip, is going to allow us to pull the bat through the strike zone. As the shoulders rotate, we're going to level out our swing and then be able to stay long through the baseball. A common flaw that we see with the swing path is going to start on the bottom half of the player, and that is when they get no or a very slow back hip turn, and this is what we see a lot of times with youth players. Okay, so a lot of times we see a big flaw with young hitters is they get no back hip turn and their back foot stays on the ground. To correct this, we use inside front toss, and this is how it looks. And the emphasis we're telling our players is to have an aggressive back hip, and I'm going to toss it to the inside part of the plate. Notice that his back foot comes off the ground, he gets a complete turn. That was excellent. Here we go. Okay, another flaw that we see with the swing path is when a young player will bar his front arm and allow his hands to move away from his body, creating a long swing at the beginning, which then ends up being short on the back end. Remember, the correct swing path is going to be short to and then long through. This is what we see a lot of times. Here's the flaw that we see a lot of times with young hitters. They stride and the front arm will bar and move away from their body. And of course, that's not what we want. We want this front arm to stay bent and then pull forward. So to correct this, we can do a couple things. One, we'll use a tee and we'll put it on the inside half of the plate. And anytime that we hit it on the inside half, the tee is going to be a little bit further in front of the plate. And what we're going to do is get this player, encourage him to hit the ball up the middle and not pull it. To do that, he's going to have to pull his hands straight towards the baseball and keep this front arm bent. This is how it looks. Okay. Okay, again, with the casting of the hands or the barring of the front arm, to prevent that, one drill that we could use with players is to simply put the tee against the net, approximately 12 inches away from the net, and have the players hit the ball stride and then hit the ball to the other end of the cage. If they're hitting the net as they hit this, they know that their hands are casting away from their body. So the focus is to really keep their hands close to their body, keep that front arm bent, and then hit the ball down the line. This is what it looks like. Nice. Another drill to keep our swing short too is to put the ball on a tee with the net back here behind us. This is going to reinforce the idea is that we have to pull our hands forward and not cast our hands or drop our barrel back. That's another common flaw we see with young hitters. So this drill here, the net back behind the hitter's back foot about 6 inches, and then he puts the tee up here, he's going to hit the ball to the other side. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay, another common flaw we see with the swing approach is when the back shoulder and the hands drop as the player begins to swing. This is what we see a lot of times with youth hitters. They stride, they go to hit, back shoulder drops, hands drop. And to prevent that, what we want to do, a couple of drills. One is a high tee drill. Let's move over this way a little bit. And this is a strike in Little League. This ball is in the strike zone, but more importantly for this drill, is going to force the player to pull his hands forward and to not drop his hands or back shoulder as he goes to swing. And he's trying to hit a line drive up the middle. This is how it looks. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, as much as possible, we want to incorporate pitches in our drills, pitches that are coming towards the hitters and not simply work on tees. So again, to force the hands to come forward and to not drop the back shoulder and hands, we're going to do a drill called high front toss, and it looks like this. I'm simply going to toss it high into the strike zone, and he's going to work on pulling his hands forward. All right, we can both do better. One more, Bick. That's pretty good. All right, another common flaw we oftentimes see with the swing path is, again, a lower body problem. And the lower body problem is that a lot of young hitters will stride open, as we talked about. As they go to swing, everything is flying open. The front shoulder will fly open, the knee opens up, and it's just really hard to hit with power from this position. So what we want to do for our drill is we can start off by putting the tee on the outside half of the plate, back a little bit, and now what we're going to have the player do is stride, and we're going to watch to make sure that he stays closed, front shoulder, front knee. He wants to stay on the baseball and hit it that way. And this is what it looks like. Adding to the drill of trying to keep the front side closed, front knee, front shoulder, front hip closed as we go to hit, we use this drill right here. I'm going to front toss the ball to the inside part of the plate, and Chris is going to hit it. But occasionally I will fake it. And if I fake it, the hitter has to hit that pitch to the opposite field. This is how it works. Again, this forces the player to keep his front side closed. Here's how it looks. Ready? Good. Put another ball on there. We'll do another one. I'll throw it to the inside. Real nice. Okay. One very useful drill to teach hitting and good mechanics of hitting is what we call target hitting, and to give our players an opportunity to hit long towards targets, either from a pitcher throwing to them or off tees. So in this drill, and this is going to reinforce good mechanics and a good swing path of being short to and long through, Chris is simply going to try to hit the ball to the other side of the cage at that target. This is how it looks. Pretty good. Yeah, do another one.